Thing with a Welsh or Irish accent, you know?
Welcome to another haggis eating episode of...
That's what Arnie voice.
Oh, yeah.
Oi,
Listen to me.
welcome back to another
eat some
bloody
haggis.
episode of B-roll, boys.
I'm Scottish.
That's like posh. Like posh.
No, it's not, man.
to the B-roll, boys.
All of this.
This movie's gonna flop. Our minds about to pop.
But enough of that noise.
Time for the B-roll, boys.
Welcome to another sword-fighting episode of B-roll, boys. Today we bring you 1986's cult masterpiece, Highlander.
Highlander.
I am your host, Wes, and with me is my other B-roll boys, Justin
Hey, Lander.
and Harlander himself.
There can be only one and only.
There could be singular,
That was really good.
Thanks.
like the cell phone company.
So I've been wanting to show this to unsuspecting friends for a while now.
I specifically
I was-
saved my Highlander virginity for you. I started watching this and then quit so I could watch it just with you.
That's an honor.
I was quite suspecting.
You were?
Okay, yes. I was not unsuspecting, okay.
But was this what you suspected?
No, not at all, because I didn't know anything about this movie. Like, okay, so a little bit of backstory.
All right, here we go.
At a previous job, we'd move inventory between stores, and this guy, like, whenever I'd request shit from his store, he would always leave a little note for me that said there can be only one, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, it was like, what? I didn't get the reference, and somebody was like, oh, it's from Highlander, and I was like, oh. Okay, well, I haven't seen that, whatever. And I was under the impression that people really liked this movie and took it very seriously. But this was stupid as fuck.
What are you talking about? People take this very seriously.
I enjoyed it, but it was really stupid. It was really stupid.
And that's why I thought it was perfect for the show. Because you know what? It's great,
It's a
but it's
good pick.
also cheesy as fuck.
That's a good pick.
I knew that it was going to be corny and over the top, but this surpassed my expectations for that.
Yeah.
Where do you even begin explaining this movie to someone who's never seen it before? That's why I just wanted to show it to you guys, right?
Only a few minutes into the movie, like, two dudes start fighting with swords in a parking garage, and so Wes
yeah.
looks at me
You
and
gotta
he's
keep
like,
your blade on
and he's
you.
like, so Harlan, you're probably pretty confused right now. Well, it's like, I was like, and I didn't ask for an explanation, but he told me. They're basically like Saiyans, and they just like they have an urge to fight each other and until there's only one left. And the movie doesn't like totally
Fortnite.
Yeah.
it doesn't
Wait.
it doesn't totally explain that, or at least not in such a simple way. So I wonder like how well I would have interpreted that if you just didn't explain it, you know?
That's true. Because like they leave it pretty ambiguous in the movie too. It's like there's these immortals. They're just like chosen.
Like, where did they come from? Like, why?
Where did they go?
Yeah, like Cotton Eye Joe was a Highlander, you think?
Maybe.
Before I just thought it was two bros with their blades banging.
As you do.
But then you were like, oh, they're Saiyans.
You know, I've never ran into you in public and we had a sword fight. That's never happened.
That's really disappointing. I keep
Yeah.
a sword in my car just in case. In case
That
you ever get the
motherfucking
urge.
fang on me.
That's why you always wear a reporter trench coat so you can keep your katana like sheathed.
Oh my god, I remember in school, some fucking loser that I was doing like a project with. I think we were going to record a video or something, and I have these Lord of the Rings swords at home. And this guy wanted me to bring my swords to school so he could record the video at school. And I was like, you want me to keep swords like in my car at school?
Why not? They're in your car.
Are you kidding me? I would have been taken to Guantanamo if I fucking showed up to high school with swords.
As long as you keep your swords in your trunk, it's okay.
I had a truck. I didn't have a trunk.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You should have just had, like, you know how people have, like, the shotgun gun racks in their truck? You should have just had a katana rack. just pull
I
up
should have
to
had my
school.
Demon Slayer swords all mounted up.
Your Nichiren blades, you fucking straight. Oh, but anyway. Yeah, so basically, these people are just immortal, and they awaken their immortal powers by the quickening, which is an event when they get an early death by something that's not natural, which is why he had his quickening when he was stabbed during that war, and then he came back, and boom, now he's an immortal Highlander.
Oh, can I just say?
Yeah.
This movie opens up. This is back in the days where they had like several minutes of opening credits, but it's just a black screen. And then the title comes on, and you just hear like 3 dudes harmonizing, like, ah! And we all just lost our shit immediately harmonizing.
Well, it opens so hard. So this entire movie soundtrack is like a standard like orchestral score, but also just accompanied by like a whole bunch of Queen songs.
Yeah.
Just throughout the whole thing. It's great.
Is it now? I'm not super aware of Queen's discography outside of the hits. Did they write that stuff just for the movie, or is this?
I believe so.
Or is this like some other B-sides of theirs? Because I hadn't heard these songs before.
I believe these were original. I think I read on the trivia actually that they were only supposed to write one song, but then they were so inspired by the script that they wrote the rest.
Hell
Harlan,
yeah, they're into that nerd shit.
Harlan, I saw you on your phone during the opening credits. Did you get bored and think the pacing wasn't good?
See, that's one thing that you kind of have to learn to forgive with old movies because they all do that. They all have the credit wall for like 2 minutes. You listen to a song and then it goes into the movie.
Look, man, when I was like 9 years old, I was bored as fuck during the opening credits of Spider-Man 1.
For the record, I was just reading a text message. And also, I mean, yeah, this movie was 2 hours long, and I don't think it needed to be. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's, yeah. And are you surprised? Like, did you expect anything else?
Dude,
from
there's action beats happening all over the place.
Not really. This movie dragged ass in quite a few places.
Where? Name one.
Minute 68 and 12 seconds.
Harlan carved it into his skin, the time codes that he got bored at.
This movie was balls to the wall pretty much the whole time. It's fine. It's fine. It's great.
There were a couple points where I was checking out, but for the most part, I loved it.
Like I enjoyed it overall, but I think there were a few scenes that didn't really need to be there, or like they just kind of bored me. And like generally, I felt like the past stuff was more entertaining than the present day stuff.
That's interesting.
I was the opposite. I thought the present day stuff was way better because I just like seeing dudes in like modern clothes and suits fighting with swords. It's like Yakuza. It's like
challenging each other.
When it was like that like the first fight in the parking garage, I was like, let's fucking go. That shit was like they like fucking decapitates him and like chops into a fucking like brick wall, and then all the cars start exploding, and I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I love it.
It is a fucking opening scene, especially if you have no idea, because it starts off Christopher Lambert, which if you don't know, he's Raiden in Mortal Kombat and many other nerdy things like that. It's whatever you want it to be. He's an accompaniment.
No, it's like people that call Ryu Ryu.
It's Ryu.
It's Ryu.
Yeah, it's Ryu.
Yeah.
I used to say Ryu until I learned.
Until you widened your horizons.
Until I Ryaned my...
You Ryaned your horizons.
All right, I'm cutting all this out. But yeah, he was just like at a wrestling match.
Yeah,
okay, that's the thing I don't understand. He was just at a wrestling match, I guess, by himself.
What else is he gonna do? He's immortal.
I guess it's implied. Okay,
not gonna just be training nonstop.
Let's go back into the kind of non-lore that they give you about the immortals. So, like I said, they're chosen, they're awakened, they have the quickening and all that. Eventually, so they're drawn to each other and they want to fight because whenever you kill another immortal, you behead them and then you gain all of their power and all of the powers of the immortals that they killed. So the more that you kill, the more powerful you get.
What kind of power is that though? Like,
I guess just
physical strength.
It's literally just like play any video game.
Yeah. Well, they don't really get into this. It's not like they're shooting like fireballs and kamehamehas and shit.
Exactly.
That's why Kurgan was the strongest warrior because he's bloodthirsty and he's killing all the immortals. He has a lot of power.
He unlocks new combos and shit.
See, I was confused because
his carry rating goes up.
They're like, they say that there can be only one, so it seems like it's like a thing of their people. Like they all have like the instinctive urge to like fight and be the last one standing.
Yeah.
But then some of them just kind of don't give a shit about that. Like this dude Juan, Sean Connery, like comes and just trains him, and he's just a bro for some reason.
Well, because
they never explained why he's training him. He just comes and does it.
He's like 2,500 years old. Maybe he saw something in McLeod.
So is that to be expanded upon in the sequels?
Maybe.
I'm not watching sequels.
Okay, so as much as I love this movie, and I've seen this one like 200 times, there is like 4 movies, and I've only ever seen the first 2, and there's a series, and I haven't seen that. Supposedly, the movies and the show has like different lore explanations for things, but I kind of like just this movie in and of itself with like the small kind of hints that they give you.
This was all I needed.
Yeah, I feel like I feel like that's enough. You know.
Yeah.
I have a pet peeve of the beginning. I hate when even movies that I like, and I love this for the record, I hate when movies will throw a paragraph up on screen and expect me to be like, oh, okay, I fully understand the exposition now. My mind, this is the ADG generation, my mind shits that out in like
Same.
2 seconds.
Yeah, I gotta be honest.
I forgot that it was there until like 2 seconds ago.
It was
Me
like
too.
a big paragraph of basically Sean Connery just saying there can be only one.
Yeah, and like
More or less.
I don't feel like I needed that. I feel like if you wanted to draw me in, you could just have the wrestling and then the parking lot fight. You didn't have to give me this is not a complicated movie, so you don't need this like Terminator lore that they're giving you.
And that's how fast it went in and out of my brain, is that it was the first thing you saw, and then in the parking garage 5 minutes later, I was like, why are these dudes fighting?
Same, actually.
I was like, what the fuck?
Well, I mean, I don't remember the opening paragraph, even though we just watched it. But like, I don't think you would have got that from just that one paragraph. You know?
I mean,
so
I just don't
way-
need like any kind of premise setup. I think that the mystique
Just
of
drop
just
me
what
in.
it is,
Yeah.
of this like awkward looking Dane Cook motherfucker just sitting at like a wrestling match and then fighting a dude with a katana in the parking lot, like that's enough to draw me in. I paid the ticket price in 1986. Like it's
And-
good. I'm here. You got me.
And that's the only thing I can come up with is why he was there. Because like as time goes on and there's less and less immortals, they're killing each other off. They're supposed to all be drawn to like one spot in the world to have like a grand, not like a tournament, but like
They did
they're
make
all
it sound
drawn
like-
there to fight each other. But it's not like organized in any way. It's just kind of like a feeling.
when they were talking about it, they did make it sound like it was going to be like a straight up tournament. You know, like
Yeah.
they made it sound like it was going to be like an organized thing. But no, it's very much just like, oh, they just run into each other at some point, and they're like, oh shit, you're high. Oh, I guess we gotta fucking fight.
So I guess that's why McLeod was at the wrestling place, but that doesn't explain like why he bought a ticket and like sat down and had sensory overload. And
I have some headcanon here that I
let's
can
hear it.
try to
all right,
explain this
No
away
prize
with
it. Let's go.
because this is supposed to be. Can I assume that this is present day in times of the movie?
yeah, which
think so.
would be 1986.
And you see him like through history. He's in like a bunch of different wars, or at least war efforts. There's one bit where he's just running through, and it's World War II.
yeah,
I
they
think
have like
that,
the Wolverine
he's
style.
fighting with like redcoats in, I'm assuming, the Revolutionary War. There were no active wars, at least like active American wars going on in 1986. So maybe he was going to a wrestling place because that was like the closest he could get to real combat.
Oh, maybe because he was like envisioning like his past and like the Scottish
Like he's going
wars
there
he was
because
in.
he's like Rambo. It's the only thing he can conceptualize is combat. So he has to go to like whatever the closest equivalent of that is. So he's just frequenting like karate tournaments and boxing shit.
That's actually a very good point. I never thought about that.
Sure,
That's entirely out of my ass, but the more I explain it, the more I think it's actually kind of true.
a no prize for you, my friend.
Hell yeah.
So we got our big bad as well. Fucking
Clancy Brown,
Clancy
as
Brown,
Kurgan.
This
Mr.
dude-
Krabs.
Sponge Boy me Bob.
This dude is so great.
No, yeah, he's definitely the best part of this movie. Like
By a mile.
Like Christopher Lambert kind of sucks in this movie. Like, and it makes it more entertaining. But like, yeah, he kind of sucks. But Clancy
it's-
Brown is like really entertaining in this.
He sucks in like a very deliberate kind of way.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out of my head. His face looks very similar to the main guy in
He's
Grandma's
just
Boy.
kind of he's just kind of doing this a lot. He's like,
Kind of looks like a caveman. Like
he's always like, got a furrowed brow, but he's like smiling a little bit after he says everything.
He has
you know?
like a
He's
slightly delayed reaction to stuff. So like someone will make some kind of motion in a different cut, and he'll stare blankly for a second, and then like robotically smile and be like, "What?"
he is weird, but in
He's
this
a couple
movie,
cans short of a six pack.
he's endearing in this movie.
he has a lot of really like so they try to give him a non-specific foreign accent. Since he's like they ask him the cops ask him where he's from, and he's like, a lot of places. And like, so a lot
They're
of
doing
so,
the
like,
After Earth thing.
yeah, so yeah, his line delivery is super weird. Like at the very end of the movie, he says, "There can be only one." It's supposed to be like this really triumphant moment, but he just sounds so silly.
Yeah, that's true. Because like everyone else that said it in the movie has fucking screamed it at the top of their lungs.
Yeah, or
And
like,
at the end, he's just
Clancy Brown is
"There
sang
can
it at
be
like
only one."
the lowest C note you possibly can. He's like, "There could be only one," but fucking Christopher Lambert's like, "There can be only one."
There can be only one.
It's like, yeah. It's like they told him to try to sound like a Scottish person trying to sound like an American person, and it just didn't really work out. But yeah, he's just kind of going through, dodging this dude, constantly having flashbacks to his old life. So you guys are torn on this. Justin, you only like the present day stuff?
I mean, I liked the past stuff. I just thought the present day stuff was more entertaining. Like, because I guess it's more outlandish, and the rest of it just looks like Braveheart.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It is kind of B-movie Braveheart, because it's literally just like two villages attacking each other. There's like no plot.
Like all the characters look exactly like they're out of Braveheart. Yeah. It's like the Spaceballs version of Braveheart.
So when he gets stabbed and he's like has the quickening, he gets abolished from his village.
Yeah, they string him up and kick his ass.
So this is the devil's work. Yeah. And it's like, what, do you prefer I'd be dead? And they're like, yeah, actually. And they're like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
Yeah, his friends turn on him like really fucking quick.
Yeah.
The sensei comes along. Juan Ramirez, whatever, 50 names.
Mm-hmm. Sean Connery.
Sean Connery
with the
Juan
ultimate
Ramirez,
drip.
Auditore de Firenze, or whatever.
Yeah. Auditore de Firenze. But he comes in and takes it upon himself to train Connor McLeod, and he's fucking great. They have like a Rocky 3 moments where they're like running through the beach together.
Oh yeah,
they're
like,
fighting.
I feel it, Mr. Krabs.
This is an epic training montage, mainly just because of the camera work. Like it just shows them sparring on top of mountains.
Oh yeah,
and just landscapes all over the place. It's pretty great.
The scenery is really cool. At least
there's a lot of really cool shots in this.
A lot of helicopter shots.
Oh yeah,
they made good work of it, or good use of the helicopter.
Yeah,
there's a lot of during all those fights, especially in the the past scenes. Anytime somebody like has to do a grunt or like an ow or an o, like they just did the first take. They got like people will get stabbed and be like, ugh.
The ADR is really funny in
It's
this.
always just like
Like there's so many moments, and I know that most movies are like ADR pretty much entirely
back, yeah.
But in this, like, someone's mouth will like barely move, and they'll be like, ah, like right into the mic. It's really funny. I noticed that multiple times, and it's great.
Yeah.
Or like it looks like they're just like barely mumbling something, but they're like eating the mic and it's full volume. And I'm like, wow, the voice did not match the face in that take.
Yeah.
But it's Highlander. Who gives a shit?
True.
It's still great.
Everyone's just stylish and dripped out the whole time.
Yeah.
Like Sean Connery had this like really like classic Spanish like super red getup.
He's dressed like a fucking conquistador.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he says he's from Spain, but he's also Egyptian, and he's like 2,600 years old.
Yeah.
And it goes into this whole thing.
And he has a
that's
Japanese wife.
Yeah. And they made him a katana that was folded like 200 times, and they went into all this rich lore behind him.
Yeah.
Pretty great.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And fucking.
But yeah, I mean, did I miss anything? Did I explain why he comes along to train him? He just shows up out of nowhere, and he's like, "I'm gonna train you specifically."
Gohan, take your pants off.
Well, he was drawn to him in the same way that Kurgan was. So in another one of the flashbacks, Kurgan is like the like evil, like immortal Highlander guy, and he's
got the best like endgame Elden Ring armor set.
yeah, before they
got that Radon set, son.
Before they attacked Connor's village, or McLeod's village,
Connor
he
McLeod.
told all of his men, "Don't fight him. He's mine. I want to kill him." And so it was kind of funny. McLeod, and during the battle, was like, "What the fuck? Nobody wants to fight me."
Yeah, they're all like actively like running away from him.
They're all running away from me. And then this like 8-foot tall dude comes up. He's like, "Hey, want to fight me?" And they just stabs him through the chest. And so I guess he's the one that activated his quickening because he sought a battle.
He hit his limit break.
He wanted to fight him at his best. And yeah, he activated his quickening, and then boom. Thus the 500-year struggle began.
I don't know why, for some reason, I kept thinking it was like more than 500 years ago. I thought this was like
I thought so too.
1100
Yeah.
kind of time.
I think they said during the flashbacks it was like the 1530s. So
Yeah.
actually it would have been about like 450 years.
He says that he's been alive for 4.5 centuries.
Yeah, it's just
yeah.
weird. Like he said that he was born in 1511, and I just thought it was like a little goofy. I'm not like a historian.
So-
I don't know. They kind of look like barbarians. Like it's weird to see that in like 16th century.
So
they were like that like 100 years ago.
So they say that
Parts down the street they're like
Highlanders can't have children. So like, where did they come from? Are they like mutants with X-Men, where it's just like you just like randomly get
I think
an
they
X
just
gene?
become that.
You
They're
just
kinda
randomly get the
chosen.
X gene and you just are.
Yeah, at least as far as this movie's concerned. I haven't seen it, like I said, but I believe either the series or one of the movies are kind of saying like they were kind of chosen by God to be these warriors, but he was just like kind of fucking with humans is why they did that or something like that.
That's stupid.
This is really off base, but he's like, yeah, we'll give some of them powers, make them fight, it'll be funny.
it's like better of what that I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I like the first movie contained in itself. It's a nice...
Some things don't need to be explained.
Like, this is
like some
so,
things
like-
are better if you just leave it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so willing to just accept whatever this movie throws at me that I don't need this like big dumb explanation of what all of it is. Like that's what fucking
Yeah,
Predator did. Like
'cause-
Predator was so good just in and of itself, and then it has all these other movies that try to like throw lore in. I'm like, okay, I don't care.
Exactly.
I don't need midi-chlorians to be explained to me. You know, like
Yeah.
It
shit
can be
like that, like-
self-contained. You can just be like, yeah, that happens in this universe. It's
Just
whatever.
it just
tell me
does,
that
like-
these guys
yeah.
are immortal and they fight because magic, and I'm like, okay,
yeah.
that's it. That's all I need.
They're drawn to each other to fight, and that's
I
it.
don't need to
I'm
know
pretty
why
good
the
with that.
ring turns the wearer invisible. It just does. You know, like
Fuck off.
I do like their contained lore
cummed on.
within the Immortals, though, because Sean Connery kind of states this as well. So there can be only one. So they're all trying to fight to. So there's one left. They gain all the power of all the other Immortals that's ever lived, and they don't know what happens because it's never happened before. So they say it's the prize. So it's actually really just kind of a fable of like there can be only one. They don't really know what's going to happen, and I think that's kind of a cool touch. They're just like, yeah, we'll fight. We'll see what goes on,
whatever happens,
and
happens.
then boom.
So that means there's like no friends though. Like even though Sean Connery is training him, it
I was
basically is
wondering
going
if
to
they were
boil
gonna-
down. It's kind of like Hunger Games, where like they can team up for a little bit, but it's like we gotta fucking kill each other.
I was
later,
wondering if that
right?
was going to happen, and it just doesn't. So
Well, I mean, I guess fucking Mr. Krabs puts an end to that, right? They can be friends because the rest of them don't have to kill each other because he'll just kill them all.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That actually
I'm not
would
killing
have
you.
that would have actually presented an interesting moral dilemma, and this movie doesn't give a flying fuck about all that.
yeah.
Yeah, because he met up with another one of them. McLeod did, like in New York or something. He's like, huh, this all is crazy, right? Remember that party from 100 years ago?
Yeah.
And they're all just like buddy. They don't even give a shit.
Yeah. Like, how are they friends when they're gonna have to fucking fight?
And then Kurgan just fucking murders him in an alleyway. It's great.
Yeah. He's a really great, like, instant tension kind of thing. He just shows up, and when he first is introduced, Wes is like, this guy's a fucking cockbag, and he's great.
Like Clancy Brown is like really chewing up the scenery with this. Like he's
I
like,
was just about to say
there's a
that.
scene where he like follows because they can't fight on holy ground. So like,
It's
so
their
like,
anti-PvP zone.
so like Kurgan meets Connor in a church, and they're just like talking, and they're like like at each other's throats, getting ready to fight, and then like the nuns and everyone else are like all getting all like scared and like like scurrying the children away, and he's like he like takes a priest's hand, he like licks it, and like he's just like doing weird shit like
he's
that.
fucking with Connor at one point, and Connor gets pissed. He's like, remember the server rules. You can't fight me in the non-PvP zone. You'll get permabanned.
So yeah, like is it a rule that they can't fight there, or is like they could if they really wanted to, or like what? It's not clear. Like
See, I don't know, because maybe they would be punished for it, maybe they wouldn't.
yeah, because I was
Maybe they
also
wouldn't get the power.
I was also unclear. Like when Sean Connery explained like Highlanders can't have children, I was like, wait, like you physically can't, or like it's just a Jedi forbidden thing, you know?
No,
like,
they physically can't.
Okay, so like, can they physically? I'm guessing they can fight. Like like if they tried to fight in a church, would their fists just like be like magnets, like pushing each other away?
There'd be like a little dialogue thing that says, "Oak, you cannot do that."
Maybe they'd just be zapped dead on the spot.
Now's not the time.
Like during the history of
That's
time,
what it
two immortals had to have fought in like holy ground at one point, right?
Sure.
They're just
Someone
like
has to know what happened.
they're like mashing R1, and the little like det 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 sound is popping up.
They just keep teching each other's attacks.
I do love just how much of a menace Kurgan is to literally everybody. He like stays in this dive motel and he's just like yelling at everybody and just like giving people the weirdest looks ever the whole time. The clerk tries to speak to him and he's like, "Never speak to me again." He's like, "Sorry, man, I didn't." And he grabs him by the neck. "Never speak to me again." And you're just like, "Oh yeah, this guy's awesome."
He was there for a prostitute, but like he clearly has no problem with just raping women. So I'm like, why would he pay for a prostitute?
I probably didn't.
Well, like the guy at the desk like comments that she said that he was into some kinky shit. So like either he's seen her before, or she lived.
Oh, yeah, that's a good.
Oh yeah.
So I assume he did pay.
Yeah, like if if he did stiff her, she wouldn't be like, "Oh, he's into kinky shit." She'd be like, "He stiffed me."
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess he pays sex workers. I appreciates that about him.
Kurgan.
He's already based through this entire movie, and that just, you know what, Kurgan respects women.
Yeah.
Kurgan, he's a good guy.
He doesn't respect anybody else. And he's a real motherfucker through the rest of the movie. But
Yeah.
And I love that giant scar on his neck. So yeah, it shows
It's like clothes with like safety pins.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
he's like
He looks
some
like
kind of patchwork monster.
he looks like he's going to like an industrial show.
Yeah, that was another flashback. Him and Ramirez, Sean Connery, just like gets into a fight where McLeod just like fucked off for a bit or something. Maybe he was training on a mountaintop or something. And
There's so many mountaintop training shots.
they start fighting in this tower. And there's like a lightning storm going on, and there's just like epic shots the whole time. And Sean Connery almost cuts his head off, like he like cuts his neck like
Your
clean
blade,
through, like halfway
it
through.
did not cut deep enough.
Yeah, that shit was so hype. There's just so many instances like that where it's like, yeah, 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 yeah.
So
we're just sitting here hooting like apes the whole time.
I want to talk about how he like so we said they have like a X-Men Origins Wolverine type thing where it like shows him like through the ages fighting in different wars, and you know at one point I think it was in like World War II, because he shot the Nazi, and he
Hell
like,
yeah, he did.
Hell yeah,
Yeah,
that was
did.
base as fuck.
Fucking murdered him.
Oh yeah, what do you say?
He says like, what does he say? He's like hands up or something, and the Nazi's like, "You'll have to shoot me." Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like, "You'll have to shoot me," and he's like, "Whatever you say, you are the master." I'm just gonna do a different accent for every time.
He doesn't sound like Kermit the Frog. like, what are you talking about?
You're the master race after all.
Yeah, and then he just like unloads his fucking clip into this Nazi. It was great. We cheered.
That's where the theater cheered.
Yeah. What was? Oh yeah. So he rescues this little girl. During that time, named Rachel, and she's like, I don't know, like 7 or something like that, like around there. And then you see her later, and she's an adult. And like you realize it's her because he calls her Rachel, and then they kiss, and it's like, oh, so
I didn't kiss. He kissed her on the cheek.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah,
Because
they
I
have
was like,
like
did he just save her and then groom her? Because that's weird.
No, I think it's implied that they kind of had like a father daughter or like a watchover thing.
She was like the Alfred to his Batman, you
Yeah,
know, like because
'cause-
he has this huge fucking apartment, and I guess she just runs things
Oh, yeah,
for him.
sidebar. His whole deal is that he's like an antique dealer, and she basically runs the whole shop while he just fucks off and goes to wrestling matches. I guess. I don't.
Yeah, and he assumes like the identities of dead people. In this case, like a baby that died at birth.
Yeah, and he like leaves all of his possessions like a inheritance to dead people and assumes their identity, and he's been doing it for a long time. I don't know, but he runs an antique store.
Probably because having one social security number for like 300 years is kind of sketch.
That's a little weird. He was before Social Security.
Wasn't Social Security only a thing starting in like the 80s? Isn't it like a relatively very recent thing?
Social security. I thought that was from the 40s. Wasn't that the New Deal?
You could be right.
I think so. It's like
Maybe it's like credit
it's
scores.
credit
I think
score.
credit scores
from
are
the
recent.
80s.
came out
Okay.
in, like,
Because I asked what his credit score was at one point.
Yeah, that's
Oh,
what I
yeah.
was thinking of. Okay, sorry.
credit scores weren't even around when Highlander was. I think credit scores was like 89.
I was about to say, do you think Highlander started credit scores?
Well, because he says at the end of this movie, so like, you know, he defeats Kurgan, and he explains that like the prize is like he has like if he concentrates, he can hear everyone's thoughts and feelings and everything. And so he like implies that he's gonna use that power to like unite the world. And he's like, I'm going to help scientists and politicians and diplomats understand each other. And
Is he Indian?
He does not sound anything like this.
I'm just gonna do a different accent every fucking time. Oh, you know what? While I'm butchering his accent, just another thing he says really weirdly and kind of out of, I feel silly saying this, but out of character, it felt like to me, was Kurgan's about to kill his girl, and then he like jumps in and blocks Kurgan's sword at the last second. He's like, and he goes, hey, what took you so long? And
yeah, it was just something like that.
It was no, that's exactly what he said. It was
She's
just
his
a
white mage.
It was a
dude.
weirdly snarky thing for him to say. Like I didn't feel like he was like like a quippy guy before that, but it was just like what?
Yeah, it turned into a Marvel movie for 3 seconds, and I puked.
But that was awesome though when he finally defeated Kurgan and he absorbed his power, and there was like these like he's raised up in the air and there's like all kinds of wind
Like
and like
berserk
ghosts
demons
and shit
flying around.
just
Yeah,
like
that was
invading him.
hype.
Yeah, I liked it.
Could you imagine if Kurgan won? What he would do with that power?
He'd probably just turn into Sauron, like in the beginning of the movie.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah. No, yeah, I did enjoy that. So you said that they like just draw that over the film? Is that how they did that?
I mean, I think that's how they did special effects like that because it had like that Ghostbusters thing where they
Yeah.
kind of drew like the shit,
And you can
on
tell
there.
like it's like the frame rate is a little low, you
Yeah.
know, of it. It looks
Yeah,
cool.
like I
though.
honestly don't even know how that was done at the time.
It looks cool.
It
I
looked
like
really cool.
Yeah.
Like legit. I really like that style of special effects.
Yeah,
And they could get away with that with old shit because
it's kind of charming,
Yeah, I
especially
like
for
it.
this. Like,
oh yeah, I was gonna mention like because at the end when he has like all of his knowledge, he told, oh yeah, through the whole thing there's like an investigator that's trying to figure out the whole story, but she's also like weirdly super into old swords.
Yeah, because this is like
Conveniently-
a karate movie where just like everyone just has to know swords.
Yeah.
And so the girl that he fucking is falling in love with and is like hunting him down just happens to know all about swords. She fucking wrote a book on them. Sorry, continue.
No, it's all good. And she fell in love with him in the weird time too. He's like, "Yeah, I'm immortal. I can't die." Then she just starts kissing him.
she got real horny off of that.
It's like this is like one of my novels.
It's like I'm bleeding out.
Oh yeah, because he's like, "I'm immortal," and then he like puts a knife in her hand and stabs himself with it. It's like, see, huh?
Why did he have to
And
have
she's
her
like-
do that? That's like super traumatic.
Drew, do you think they got freaky with the hole, or
Yeah,
Definitely. Well, yeah, because then we have like
he's like I'm a squirter.
because then we have a little bit of a sex scene and we see some ass.
get some
Not a little
tasteful-
bit. It's a lot. It's like the
Yeah.
room.
We get some
Got
nice,
something for everyone.
tasteful side nipple.
Yeah.
We get side booty from both characters.
True.
Well, that's so weird to me. Is like when you see
What,
like
ass?
no when you see like side boob, but it's like all in shadow. It's like either show the boob or don't. Like
Well, there was a couple
It's
quick boobs.
exactly like the sex scene from Terminator.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
there's a sex scene in Terminator.
Yeah.
That's how
When Kyle Reese and Sarah Connor frig.
they had to have John somehow.
Yeah. He wasn't
I
an
guess it's been
immaculate
a-
conception.
I guess it's been a while since
like
I've seen
Jesus
the first one.
Christ.
But yeah, anyway, at the end, he's like, I can come and have kids now and stuff. And it's like, how would he know that? But I guess he knows everything.
Yeah, he just seems to know that he's like I can live and grow old now, and I'm like, why?
So I guess the prize was all of the knowledge of the world and the universe, but also he's immortal, so he's gonna die. So
He
what-
gets too
what a-
big brain to live forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it's just going to turn into like Bran from Game of Thrones.
Heavy is the crown, you know.
Heavy is the head that's weighted down with 1,000 thoughts or whatever that Loathe song is.
And
A
now
really
he,
good
His
one.
brain got too wrinkly and he just couldn't hold it up.
and now he can lay seed.
He worked out at the library too long.
Do you think when they're fucking, he's like, "There can be only cum," and then he's like blast, and then she's like, "Oh my god."
Do you think I don't know? That seems like a shitty prize to me because like if you're immortal, it's like you have all the time to gain knowledge that you could possibly need. But it's like okay, now you have all the knowledge, but you're just gonna die in a few years. Like
Well, see,
Or you could die tomorrow
Is his
if you're in a car
immortality
crash.
representing man's strive for knowledge? And now that he has all the knowledge, he can die peacefully.
a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts. Wes.
It's also worth noting, we didn't say this, that Highlanders can die, but they have to be decapitated.
Right.
Yeah, so they when they become immortal, when they have their quickening, the only thing that can kill them is beheaded, which is why they're trying to cut each other's heads off with swords, and that's the go-to.
Yeah.
What if an accident happened? They never got into that.
What do you mean?
Like, people get clotheslined every day.
Oh, like, what the fuck is that one? Her, like, Hereditary? What if that little girl was a Highlander?
okay.
And that stupid, whiny asshole brother, like, absorbed all of her powers.
He had his quickening. I mean, that's what happened at the end of Hereditary. That was just the gathering.
Yeah.
Harlan.
Yeah.
Have you ever met another Harlan?
I have not. I've never met another person named Harlan.
Do you think you would be, like, drawn to them for combat?
Do you carry your blade in your overcoat? Just in case?
I concealed carry a katana, yes.
Like, if you ran into another Harlan, do you think you would just, like, get into a melee on the spot?
Definitely. Definitely.
Okay. If you could kill other Harlans and gain their power, would you?
I mean, yeah, obviously.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I guess
there can be only one.
Yeah.
I guess being a Highlander would be really inconvenient in the 2020s because they would just catch you and lock you up.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm saying,
I
I was
feel like
saying
it's one of those things that's like you're too easy to be held accountable now.
They're like, they think they're like fucking dabbing on him and being like, hey, you get 160 years, and then he serves all of it.
and he looks the same.
Yeah, he's like, I got you.
Well, I mean, everybody that sentenced him would just be fucking dead anyway.
Yeah, true.
I was saying that, like, the Highlanders kind of operate on, like, Pokemon trainer logic, where they just fight on sight.
Yeah. I wish I enjoyed it, but I wish more of the movie was like the very beginning with the parking garage
A
fight.
lot of it was though. I feel like they had a lot of action beats in there.
I don't know. It wasn't.
Especially with Jurgens.
Thought that they alternated between various flavors of silly, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think it could have been, like, a little shorter, maybe, but I wasn't, like, begging for it to be over. Like, the end was hype enough where I was like, okay,
I
this
agree.
is cool.
Yeah.
Like, these are very minor quibbles. I wasn't sitting there thinking, like, oh my god. Like, there's some of these where I'm, like, totally checked out by the time we're done. This, I was glued to the screen the whole time.
Hell yeah. Before we give a final rating, do you guys do you have anything else to add? Like, I mean, this was pretty fucking solid, right, boys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really, really liked it. I would give it a 7.
I'd give it a 6. I liked it, but not quite as much as Justin did.
Like a strong 7, light 8, maybe.
I'll accept that, Justin. Harlan, you're fucking dead to me. No, from
It's not like one of my favorite things ever or anything, but I really enjoyed it, and I'll definitely watch it again.
I give it a solid 8 all day, every day. I fucking love Highlander.
Hell yeah.
I fucks with this shit.
I mean, I could give it a 7. It's not like a hard.
Does that mean you're giving it a 7?
It's not a hard 6.
So, would you say you're at a 6.5?
Sure.
Maybe
All
6.
right, 7, fine.
Yes, yes.
I guess I'd give it like a 7.5, maybe. Or like a 7.8.
We're just gonna like power creep our way up to a 10.
B-roll fresh. All right. Do we have any trivia for Harlander?
Right.
Well, we do have a few things to go over here. The filmmakers were shocked to find out after signing a contract for Christopher Lambert to play Connor McLeod that he spoke absolutely no English.
You know what? That tracks.
Oh my god.
I didn't realize that.
That makes so
that
much
accent,
sense.
yeah, it's
We've
like-
been shitting on this dude for the entire episode, and he didn't even speak fucking English.
Wait. So what?
He was just doing it like phonetically, I guess.
He is Scottish, right?
I
Like,
don't-
so what, was he just speaking Gaelic the whole time? Like, where's this dude from?
That's a fantastic question. I don't know.
We'll look
Now I
into
feel
this.
like a dickhead for picking on him the whole
let's see,
time. He's
let's
doing
see.
better at speaking a foreign language than I would.
Yeah, for sure.
If I had to be in something that's like, oh, you're going to be speaking
Christopher
Chinese the whole time.
Lambert.
Hey, Bert.
Let's see.
Hey, Bert.
Aber?
He is French American.
You know, we speak American in America.
Yep.
Even in the French part.
He's French.
Huh. I didn't know he was French.
He's French.
He's from France.
Okay. The opening.
Wait, Britain.
He's from France.
The opening.
French.
Can you get some French dressing on my? The opening voiceover by Sean Connery has an echo effect because it was recorded in the bathroom of his Spanish villa.
Hell yeah, King.
Weird flex, but okay.
Yeah. This one isn't really funny. It's just kind of weird. The original title for the movie was Shadow Clan.
Doesn't have anything to do with anything.
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
that's
Like,
the
where
only
does that
thing
come
that's
from?
ever said. And yeah, Highlander's better. It's more relevant.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
Shadow
Yeah, it
Clan
doesn't
sounds
sound
like
stupid.
Mortal Kombat or something.
Yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, well, that was some great trivia. Harlan?
Woo! Woo!
Yeah,
a
give it
whole
up.
hour of it.
Harlan's Trivia Hour.
It flew by.
Yeah.
All right, well, what are we watching next week, Justin?
All right, boys. Next week we are watching Twilight.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
That is a request from Camille. Thank you for listening.
Okay,
All right.
She sent me an Instagram message like, you guys should fucking watch Twilight.
All right, if it's a request, I guess we have to.
Yeah, let's do this.
I'm just gonna hate it.
I'm excited.
Did I? So before
Have
the show,
you seen them all, Wes?
I've seen the first two.
Okay, so you have seen. I thought that there was a way that you had seen it. Wes was asking me like 20 questions about the movie I was picking before the episode. And I was like, I think that there's a very specific set of circumstances that would facilitate you seeing it, and that would be through a girl.
Yep, that's it.
Because that's exactly how I watched it. I only saw the first one, and I remember the girl that showed me at the time got really pissed off because I was laughing and being a prick through the whole thing.
Yo, same though.
Nothing's changed.
Like, I would show her movies that I cared about and expect her to take it super seriously, but she shows me Twilight, and I was like, ha! The whole time.
Yeah.
Sparkle much?
Oh, yeah. I was a total douche about it. I can't say I regret it, though. Twilight sucked ass. So
Oh yeah, it does. The movie deserves it.
Yep, I can't wait to rip into it. So this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be like over 10 years of like harbored anger.
Yeah. And
great.
Twilight was like at its fucking peak while I was in high school.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Cool.
All right.
All right. So
Well,
next time we'll see.
ya.
Twilight.
Next time for fucking Twilight.
Bye.
be only one.
You're trash, bro.
I need a second, okay? Why can't anybody give me a goddamn second?
Hold on. You dig on multiverses?
Oh, no, not the beast! Not the beast! Ah! Cover my eyes!
That's it. What, we some kind of
B-roll boys.